Moondrop makes like a lot of nice like budget IEMs, but I've never tried their like true wireless or wireless stuff in general. So these are the Moondrop Sparks. Let's talk about it. Alright, now mind you, this is a gaming perspective video, so I'm going to be more focusing on the gaming aspects versus like the everyday usage and audiophile aspects of what you would want to probably hear from an audiophile review. As this is not an audiophile review, this is more of a gaming review, but I will touch on the aspects a little bit and get into it, but the focus is on how it does in games. So, with that being said, let's get started. First off, we're going to get a Moondrop waifu. All the colors get a waifu. Anyway, inside the box, we're going to get some pretty nice packaging, which include the earbuds, the case, many different sets of ear tips, as well as a foam set. All for you to find your perfect fit. Now you also get a really short but very nice USB-A to USB-C charging cable, and a whole lot of paperwork, including one with a bonus waifu. Taking a closer look at the charging case, it's made of plastic and is transparent and is kind of on the large side, but on the bright side, we get 48 more hours of battery life with this case. On the back, there's an NFC strip for fast connection, and it charges with USB-C. On the not so great side of things, it doesn't support wireless charging, which is kind of unfortunate. Moving on, if we open the case, we have our little earbuds, which are made of all plastic, and on this particular color has little motifs of flowers on them. The battery life is 8 hours per earbud, which is pretty good. Around the inner side, we can see where the magnetic charging points are at, and I should note that these earbuds have pretty long stems, which are also made of plastic, and of course there is a grill to keep your earwax out. Now here's how the earbuds look on my head, and due to their size and long stem, they kind of stick out from my ear a little bit more than I would have liked. Comfort wise, I found them to be just pretty okay. I kind of wish the stems were a little bit shorter so I would have a more like closer secure fit. On the bright side, they're really light, so the chance of them falling out due to their weight is very low, but your mileage will vary depending on your ears. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, there's already a lot of channels out there that have reviewed this for like normal people usage, and my channel mostly focuses on like using IEMs and earbuds for like gaming, so I'm gonna probably breeze through like ergonomics, usage, and whatnot, so let's get started with that. Alright, now for those of you who are curious, this is how the microphone on the earbuds are gonna sound. You have to know that if you are using Bluetooth earbuds, you've probably noticed with any other earbud or headphone that uses Bluetooth, if you're listening to audio by itself, say in a game or music, it sounds fine. But the moment you're like doing that while also are on a call or you're connected to Discord, the quality drops. That's because it switches from like its stereo mode or whatever into its hands-free mode, which is designed for calling. That way it can transfer data out while also receive data at the same time. There are limits to what Bluetooth can do, and that's why that mode exists. For example, something I do, because I like to use Bluetooth stuff sometimes on my PC to game for fun, just to have like wireless earbuds in, is I will connect them and I will go into my sound settings and actually disable the hands-free mic and the hands-free headset mode for the said headphone or earbuds. That way I can just switch to using the stereo mode and just use a separate mic to communicate, but that's just me on PC. And that's also because I don't want to use the built-in mic as well as the hands-free mode on the headphones or the earbuds, because the sound quality just isn't as great when it's in hands-free mode for like listening. So do keep that in mind when you're like using these. So because that's just the nature of Bluetooth. Now, as for the rest of the ergonomics, touch controls, well, they work, but they're not great. Sometimes it catches my touch, sometimes it doesn't. And because of that, I just don't really use the touch controls all that much. Instead, I just kind of whip out my phone and do all the controls from there. Connectivity is great when it's connected, but there are some issues with it. For example, if I put the earbuds back in their case, they don't automatically disconnect. They stay connected. So audio's not going to stop when it's put in its case. It's going to keep on playing. I actually haven't seen anyone else with this problem, so it could be just me, or maybe I botched a firmware update or something. For that same reason, I couldn't get the single earbud mode working, as you should be able to use either of the earbuds by itself, but for me, when I put one away, it was still playing in its case, but once again, could be just me. I honestly feel like I botched a firmware update using their app, which isn't very good, as you can see. Like, the most I can do with this app is adjust the earbuds like mediocre touch settings, as well as update the firmware, in which case for me it was kind of buggy, so maybe that's where all my problems stem from. I'm currently crossing my fingers for version 1.2 to come out. Mediocre functions and controls aside, where does this redeem itself? Sound. These are marketed to have a natural sound, and I'd say that's about right. It's pretty on point. It's also marketed to have a spacious sound, which I'd also say is pretty on point. Like, the sound itself is pretty clear across the board, particularly like in the mids and the highs, and I do think there is a bit of bass recession, so there isn't like a lot of like impact from the bass. Like, the bass does exist and there is some like oomph to the bass, but for like a bass head you would probably not be very satisfied with it. But for someone who kind of likes a more relaxed sound and wants there to be a bass there, like a bass hit, but nothing like too wild, but still present, then I think you'd probably enjoy these. Those who also like highs would probably not like these very much, because it does seem that the highs roll off just a little bit, but that's not a problem with me. So these do have a natural kind of relaxed sound, which I kind of enjoy. Then comes the soundstage, which was surprisingly large for an IEM or earbud in general, and it gave this spacious airiness to the sound, which I really did enjoy. But you know, that's enough of like for regular music. This is for gaming. We talk about gaming on this channel, you know what I mean? So that being said, let's get into the context of games. Now, since these are wireless Bluetooth earbuds, I do have to talk about codecs. And these pack basically every common good codec out there aside from LDAC. So you're gonna get aptX Adaptive, aptX AAC, and Poopy SBC. But the point is we have the other ones, because then we can use it across many devices without too much like quality drop or lag. And that's super good, though your mileage will vary depending on your device. Like if your phone, for example, doesn't use any codec other than SBC, you're not gonna get the best sound quality, and you might experience a little bit more lag than someone who has aptX and AAC. AAC you'll find on Apple phones, so you know, iPhones in general, and a lot of modern Android phones have been putting in aptX, which is great because that'll give you better quality but also give you better latency, so that's extremely excellent for gaming. But I've also used this on PC, because why the hell not? And let's talk a little bit about that, and for, you know, just going across the board. So with gaming on phones, I had absolutely no problem whatsoever. I didn't experience that much lag on the iPhone. There is a little bit, but not like a whole lot of it, and it's definitely bearable, and it doesn't really bother me. Same situation for Android and Nintendo Switch. The lag wasn't that bad at all. On the Switch itself, it was just like a little bit more noticeable than on an Android phone that has aptX, though you could also get like an aptX adapter for your Switch, even though they now allow finally use of Bluetooth headphones, but you know, that's beside the point. Point is, it's got very low latency on just across the board, but I do think it does best on phones and devices that have aptX and aptX Adaptive specifically versus AAC, but overall it's still not bad.
The latency when I was playing on PC was actually also not that bad. It was barely noticeable. And since I play more competitive games on my PC, let's talk a little bit more about the sound performance in games. Now, the sound for these earbuds were actually really good for hunting enemies. The clear mids and highs made it really easy to track people without being too in my face with the sound. Now, as for the soundstage, it was impressively large for in-ears, and I was also shocked to find that the spacing was fairly even around me. Sound separation and imaging were also really good on this set. Something worth noting is that these earbuds did a pretty good job giving me sound cues from above and behind me, which is not exactly the easiest thing to do, especially on earbuds and in-ear monitors. Overall, for gaming, I'm pleasantly surprised to say that these actually would do a really good job in games, and not just competitive ones.
Now, would I even recommend these guys? Honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like, they sound really good, and they perform very well for music and for games, and I really do like the sound of it. It's just very crispy and clear, but like overall what kind of hurts me just a little bit is that they just sound so good, and they use all the codecs I could ask for in like a set of earbuds, so I can use it across devices. But that's the kind of issue I'm having with it. Like, ergonomically speaking, it's a little bit rudimentary, and I think that can be fixed with a software update. I don't know. I do wish they also fixed their app. Then of course we have to factor in price, and I think the money goes mostly into the sound of it and, well, the look of it, and the waifu, of course. That's very important. But you know, it's all into the sound, because they definitely could have done better with the whole touch control situation, and like the connectivity of it being using one or two, or like, you know, just knowing to disconnect when you finally put it in the case and whatnot. Maybe I have a buggy one, I don't know. Maybe I just updated my thing wrong. Anyway, that's enough rambling. That's all I have for today, and so if this did help you out with your whole buying decision, do leave me a like. It helps me in this whole algorithm space. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on Twitch or YouTube. I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna stay on Twitch at this rate, but you know, I stream every now and then. Also, I don't say it too often, but I do recommend you guys, if you want to use this as your daily driver, just check out other videos, because maybe they had a different experience and I'm just an idiot when it comes to using these things, because I don't read the manual that much. Just kidding, I do, but you know, sometimes I'm just straight up dumb. So yeah, that's it. I'm done. Goodbye.